Good morning, friends. We are learning our subject data mining 3160714. And in that, we are learning our module 6, that is web mining and other data mining. Okay. So, what we have studied yesterday, that was the web mining basics, its applications, right? All those things we have studied. Then its three types: web content mining, web usage mining, and web structure mining, right? This is what we have seen in the previous lecture. We have started with web usage mining, right? And what we said, that the web server logs and the application server logs, from that what we get is the IP address, page references, date and time of accesses, right? This we get, and from that we do the data mining. Okay. So now applications of web usage mining, that is, we can say here we want to show the applications also and the projects which are developed for those particular applications. Okay, let me show you that. Say web usage mining. For that, these are the projects available. Okay, say weblog miner, shahabi, speed tracer, WUM, WebSwift. You can say, where are these tools? See, these are the tools developed by the researchers. Okay. Now, what do we say about the applications of web usage mining? They are say personalization. If we want to personalize the usage, for example, let me tell you that kids, when kids are there and say their parents are going out for their jobs or any other work, and internet is open for them, so the whole world is open to you. So what to do? Can we stop them using, say, bad websites, what we consider as the bad websites? How to stop them? So for that we can say personalization can be done. Fine. Personalization can be done. So that way we can say that is the web usage mining. That which website they are accessing, that is being recorded in your local PC, and from that it will block those websites, or it will at least generate the log. From that it will inform the parents, that is they'll be able to open that application, so they'll be able to have the idea that these websites kids are using when they are not available. Fine. And then they will be able to block those websites using those tools. Fine. So that is personalization of web usage mining. System improvement. If we want to improve systems, that also can be there with the web usage mining. Which type of applications you are opening on web, and based on that, for example, suppose I am opening the website where the applets are there, so my system should be improved. This is the small example, but still, say my system should be improved so that it should be having the idea means that the Java runtime environment should be there, so that is, we can say, system improvement, right? Site modification. See, when people are using the sites, and if suppose they are not going beyond a particular point because of some problem, so you can have the idea that smoothly people are using the website till this point, but after that they are not using, or few pages are not being used. So for that, some suspicious things can be there, and Then you can say not only this web usage mining, but still with say customer input, they'll be able to change it. But still, you can say that first of all, how do you have that detection that some problem is there? That is using the web usage mining. Fine. So based on that, site can be modified, right? Adaptive sites, we can say. Not all the sites are changing every day, but adaptive sites, like whatever changes, whatever things the user likes, the way they want to use something, when they get the idea from web usage. Suppose you can say that on this particular page, on clicking that, where which particular page they are going from, that also we can have the pattern, we can have the mining through which we can have the idea that they are following this path, say page 1 to page 2 to page 3, they are going. So if we can make the site modification in such a way that page 2 is not so important, we can take users from one page to directly three page, right? This is simple example, isn't it? So we can modify the sites, and they are the adaptive sites, or we can say that the project which is for this site modification is of adaptive sites, right? System improvement, for that also we are having say Rexford, then Agrawal. See, you can say Agrawal, is it tool or is it any application? See, suppose I develop something, then I'll give that tool name as a me, right? Something like this is that I have taken this from one research paper, and that is why we are able to see the tool name as this one. If you search in Google, you will be able to find such things. Okay, and if not, at least from the research paper, I have provided the link in the references, we can find this. Okay, so such tools are there. Typically, the researchers are giving the information about the surrounding. This is what you are considering for your own project, or you can say design engineering, where what you do is you are studying the environment. I mean to say that what applications are there in your particular domain. Then you compare them, try to find the advantages and disadvantages of them, and then you derive the features, those you should add in your own project, isn't it? This is what we are using. Okay, so we can have the idea for personalization also. So site helper is there. Letizia, this is the author name, but whatever tool he has made, he has named the that only, right? Or if we are not given the name, then also the tool name can be given from the author's or creator's name, right? This way people are working. So web matcher is there, analog is there, then Mobeshwar is there, and Krishnapuram, right? Krishnapuram is a place. But see, a person has made whose name is this, or you can say he has made the project for this particular city, then we can give such a names. Okay, this is the typical way people are using. If creator hasn't given the tool name, then we can cite those project names using those persons name, or otherwise that particular project for which city or for which particular place it is being made. Okay, so this way people are using. Then we can say business intelligence from the web usage mining. See, all those things, why are we doing? We are doing to provide the business intelligence to the business. Business intelligence. What do we mean by that? Very simple example. We are learning from the starting of the semester that we notice the history of the people's purchase, that is the transactions, and we find that people who are purchasing bread are purchasing butter also, right? Now what is the meaning of finding this pair, this relation? With that we want to provide the business intelligence. Now what is the business intelligence we can provide with this particular feature, that is people who are purchasing bread are purchasing butter also. So what is the relation that we have found? But Now, how we can use this for business intelligence? See, we can make the scheme that if people purchase bread and butter combo, they can be given, say, 2% or say 5% discount with that. Then people will be motivated to purchase that. They may not need the butter, but still, when they see the combo is with some discount, people will be encouraged. Okay, let us purchase this today, or otherwise tomorrow kids will eat this, or you can say that people will eat, right? Something like this people used to think. And this is the business intelligence we provide. Fine. Anytime, whenever we say that we are doing data mining, their use is to provide business intelligence or to support the decisions to make the organization better, right? Any organization of our, say, institute or business or anything, right? That can be made better. That is known to us, isn't it? So for, say, business intelligence, we can say survey, butcher, Buchiner, and say Tuzhiliru, right? So these are the projects. These are from the name of the author. Fine. So that you can see. Next is the user characterization. For that, we can say that what do we mean by usage characterization? We characterize the usage. Okay, this person is using comedy serial. This person is using, say, crime serials. This person is looking at, say, some art related things, right? So this usage characterization is there. And as I told you, as I used to tell you, that based on our usage characterization, we can be recommended with the new things are coming to the market, right? New serial of, say, crime, then that will be given to the people who like the crime serials, right? Now, how to know that whether that person like that or not? That is based on the usage, right? So you may have seen in the YouTube also very simple example that if you typically look at a particular hero or heroines movies or songs, then YouTube will suggest you when such hero, heroine, or you can say such type of movie comes to the market, then they will suggest you the video of it, isn't it? That is known to you. So that is usage characterization. Based on your usage, the characteristics are made. Not only the suggestion, but you can say that person is of this type. That is also, we can say, we can make, right? Person is of this type, that means does it similar to the astrologer predictions? No, we are not talking of that. Okay, that is not the prediction for our subject. Okay, that may be the prediction, but that is a totally different subject. Okay, we are talking of the usage characterization. Means people like this particular thing. Okay, we are not predicting that person is this way or that way or that. No, we are not doing that, but usage characterization. This person likes a comedy things, this person likes a serious thing, this person likes a news, something like that. Okay, and based on that we can always do the recommendation, right? And recommendation engines, for that many applications are available. Okay, and you can say this Amazon or Flipkart or any other websites, they suggest you that they recommend you that whatever you like you can be given, right? Given means not at free of cost. Okay, they will suggest you. Okay, then whether to purchase or not, it is up to you. Okay, but you do not have to search that. Whenever new things comes to you, it will be suggested to you, it will be recommended to you, right? Okay, now, say, spatial mining. What is that? When the name itself says spatial, it is not spatial means you are spatial to me as my subject students. No, not that. It is space, right? space. It is spatial is it is related to space. Fine. Okay. So let us see the definition. See, any definition if you do not know, use your mind. Okay, use your mind. You can always understand at least from the word itself. The title is spatial mining, so it is something related to space. This only you can understand, right? If you do not know more, then too you can write this one. Okay. See, now you are in third year. Okay, not first year students where you do not know any other thing than your own subject. You are having knowledge of many other subjects. So you can always write, you can think, and you can write for that particular title. Okay. Okay. So definition is spatial data mining is the application of data mining to spatial models. The models which are having the space into consideration. Fine. In spatial data mining, analysts use geographical or spatial information to produce business intelligence or other results. This requires specific techniques and resources to get the geographical data into relevant and useful formats. Right? So spatial, that means we are considering the geographical data and the relevant information. Right? And what do we say that? In the useful formats. Okay. Now here is one example. One where we consider that say one place is that the place is given in the figure. See, the figure was already available in the net, so I have taken that. Here the deaths of cholera epidemia is there. For that the place is say London. Okay, and the time was September 1854. Now what we are doing in this, that this is cluster. Cluster is the place where you can say that disease is there. Okay. And other where the disease is not there. Okay. So what was that? This is the geographical data we are considering. Okay. Spatial data. So now this is the disease cluster. In this particular region, the cholera is there, right? Now what happened in that, that we have found that the infected water pump was there. What was the problem in this particular area? That is, infected water pump was there, and because of this we can say that the cholera was spread in this particular cluster, right? So this is the example of spatial mining. Okay, this is the space, this is the geographical data, a map is being represented, right? And not only that, from that the related data, that is what was the problem over there that we get, and we can say we are able to have the problem that was the infected water pump, right? And that can be solved by whatever means, right? Now what are the objectives of it? Identifying the spatial patterns, identifying spatial objects that are potential generators of patterns, identifying information relevant for explaining the spatial pattern, and hiding irrelevant information. See, this is also required. You should represent the relevant information. You can have more than that information, but why to represent the relevant information? So it is always good to show the relevant information and hide the irrelevant information. Let me tell you one example. If you do not know cooking, then you should not write that in your resume that you do not know cooking. You should only write that you know this programming and that programming, isn't it? You can say who is going to write the cooking in the resume. See, you can write if you wish. If I like art, I can write that in this particular competition I won this certificate, this number I can write. It is my personal resume. Yes, technical, but still I can write this because these days companies prefer engineers, not only with the technical knowledge, but they prefer to take the engineers with such extra capabilities. So, are they going to use these extra capabilities? I mean, suppose I am having the art capabilities, I know good drawing and painting, then college will use my this ability for, say, fine arts club. I have already served for that. So, is it only the thing? See, not only this thing, companies prefer such engineers because researchers say that people who are having such art or music, or you can say acting, or any such art is there in people's life, then they have less effect of stress in their life, and they can work well, they can perform well in the companies. This is what researchers say. Okay, people when do such art, they are, you can say, isolated from the world. People who are, say, playing music, they for that particular time are isolated from the world, and that is why they are getting themselves relaxed. Okay, so the effect of stress will be less on that. Okay, so this is what I want to say you, that identifying information relevant for explaining. So if irrelevant things are there, then we should avoid. So you can say, if I know cooking, I should remove that. No, it is my personal achievement, so that I can definitely write in my resume. But irrelevant in the way that I do not know cooking. If I want to say that, then I should not write it. Okay, you can understand with this example very easily, isn't it? Okay, so let us proceed. Presenting the information. Arre, what happened? Presenting the information in a way that is intuitive and supports further analysis. Okay, so how it works? Arre, yaar. So how it works? Spatial patterns are there. That is, say, hotspots, clustering, trends, spatial outliers. What is outlier? Outlier is the data objects which do not follow the normal behavior of the system, right? As we used to talk, like typically I used to call the Indian people only, and suddenly I start calling the foreign people. So that is the outlier. Okay. Now, location prediction. What is the location of a particular thing? So location prediction. Then we can say associations and co-locations, right? See, a location is there. We do have the association with other city, other location, and we can have the relation between them, right? Or we can relate. Okay. Primary task, what are that? That is spatial data clustering analysis. Clustering is known to us. We have taken the example that was very simple. That means we can say that we are having some simple numbers and we try to make the cluster out of it. by using the distances. What sort of distances we have used? Like say Manhattan distance or Euclidean distance or many other, right? So this we have used. That was for normal simple numbers. Coordinates were there, x and y, right? So here what we consider is we can consider the spatial data clustering analysis. That is based on the spatial data. It is having the map coordinates, that is you can say latitude and longitude, right? So based on that data we are having the clustering analysis, fine. Okay, then spatial outlier analysis, that means mining spatial association rules and spatial classification and prediction, right? So this is what we are using in what? Spatial mining. Okay, now say example, unusual warning of Pacific Ocean affects weather in USA. Unusual warming. Okay, unusual warming. Say in Pacific Ocean. Say some area is getting hot. So unusual. That is because of hot. I mean because of sun. Whatever is the warming is that is a normal thing. Okay, what we are talking of the unusual. So that is maybe the reason to create the any problem in the weather. Like you can say that too much hot will be there, too much temperature increase will be there, and based on that say some disease will be there or something like this. So what we say is this is the example, right? That unusual, it is not usual. That is we have to detect that normally the temperature in the summer of this ocean is say this one, but nowadays it is more, right? So that can be detected. It is suspicious and that will affect the weather. If there can be possible solutions to make that warming, unusual warming to normal, then those ways should be applied. Like you can say some machines are there with which we can make it cool. Like simple, if we understand in a layman's language, we can say that we are adding the what we say ice to those particular region of the ocean, right? This is the normal layman's language, but we can understand the example. Okay, okay. So spatial data mining follows along the same functions in data mining with the end objective to find patterns in geography, meteorology, meteorology, etc. Then we can say that the main difference, spatial autocorrelation. The neighbors of spatial object may have an influence on it and therefore have to be considered as well spatial attributes. Okay. Topological adjacency or inclusion information, geometric position, that is I was talking to you, that is latitude and longitude, area, perimeter, boundary, polygon, right? Now what are the advantages of it? Since information is concentrated on first first new factors, it is possible to keep only a few of them while losing only a small amount of information. Mapping them produces fewer and more significant maps, right? The factors, actually the eigenvectors, are orthogonal by construction, that is not correlated. In most cases, the dominant factors That is the largest eigenvalues principal component analysis we have studied, right? Okay. Is the social component separating rich and poor in the city. So we can use the information to separate the rich and poor in the city, right? Since factors are not correlated, other smaller processes than social status, which would have remained hidden otherwise, appear on the second, third factors, right? So first of all, you have considered the dominant factor, and that is for the social component. So we'll be able to separate the rich and poor. Then after, we may consider not correlated, but the smaller processes than the social status, then we will be able to say the remaining hidden things, maybe say second level, then third level, say in reach, suppose in reach also, then we'll consider, okay, reach, fine, but that is because of their inheritance properties, or others are there who are the self-made man, like they are the businessman or any other way, they are the rich people, right? So something like this we can consider the categories. Okay. Applications: geographic information systems, geodemographic segmentations, visibility analysis, fuzzy architectural spatial analysis, suitability analysis, extrapolation domain analysis, geoinformatics, boundary problem, spatial epidemiology, spatial econometrics, right? So these are the applications of spatial mining. Now, the next thing which we want to know is temporal mining. Temporal mining is the extraction of knowledge about occurrence of an event, whether they follow cyclic, random, seasonal variations, etc. Temporal data mining refers to the extraction of implicit, non-trivial, and potentially useful abstract information from large collection of temporal data. Now, what is this temporal data? We already know. Let me remind you. Temporal data are sequences of a primary data type, most commonly numerical and categorical values, and sometimes multivariate or composite information. The examples of the temporal data are regular time series, event sequences, that is, you can say, for example, sensor readings are there, then packet traces are there, medical records, web log data, right? So, and temporal databases. Okay, so temporal data typically considers the time series data, isn't it? Event sequences and temporal databases. The common factor of all the sequences types is the total ordering of their elements. They differ on the type of primary information, the regularity of the elements in the sequence, and on whether there is explicit temporal information associated to each element. For example, the time stamp. Okay, see, time is there, sequences is there. Then what do we say is explicitly, can we get the timestamps of that or not? Right? Or if it is already related to it, we should try to have the mining result with that timestamp. Okay? For the timing, for the sequences, whatever mining we are doing, that is the temporal mining. We do not write it this way, that is the layman's understanding. I tell you it is because you can write it properly. Temporal mining is related to temporal data, and temporal data typically considers the time, or you can say that this sequence of events, right? So this is what we are considering for temporal mining. So what are the applications of it? These days, we can say that so many social media applications and platforms where we can use this, weblogs are there. We have talked of that in web mining, right? So weblogs are there, micro blogs are there, social network sites are there, location based social networks are there, discussion forums, wikis, podcasts, networks, picture and video sharing platforms, ratings and review communities, social bookmarking. All these are the applications where we use the temporal mining. You can say where this time is here in this. See, we need to consider. Typically, say, for example, let me tell you that today is 8th April, right? Say 1 year ago, if on 8th April I have shared one of the photo where I have said, say, on this date I won, say, one art competition. Then you can say today, after 1 year, Facebook, that is social media network, right? So social network, that is, for example, this Facebook, it will show me that 1 year ago you were having this. Not only for 1 year ago, say for few years ago, then also it will show you that, right? So that is what is the temporal mining applications. Fine. Based on time, you are given the reminder. You are given the particular thing, right? It is a reminder that okay, last time you were having this, so that is given to you. You may share it again. Fine. So for all those things, that is social media networks, social network, location based social networks, discussion forums, wikis, podcasts, picture and video sharing platforms, ratings and reviews communities, social bookmarking, for all of them we are using the temporal mining. Okay. Then we can say that some more are there. Recent studies and surveys have revealed an emerging need to continuously collect, monitor, analyze, summarize, and visualize relevant information from social interactions and user generated content in various domains such as business, public administration, politics, or consumer decision making. See, let us say that our PM Narendra Modi's say Twitter, if he has said that we will be doing this, from that whole country will be able to know. Does it mean that I also use the Twitter and I have seen on the Narendra Modi's Twitter? No, I may not have seen. But from his Twitter, say news people, they will be able to get this news and they will spread it through their whatever channel is there. Not only the TV channel we are talking of, it may be the newspaper, it may be any other thing, right? So we'll be able to have the idea. Okay. So what do we say is that emerging need. See, these days we upload the pictures, videos, not only we normal people, but many celebrities or any other people are putting everything on the social media, right? So there is a need to continuously monitor, collect, analyze, summarize, and visualize the social interactions. This person is having the business relation with this person. Okay, fine. So whenever the new things come from the business person, we should be able to give the recommendation to the other business relations, something like this. Okay. See, why do we use any particular application? If we are getting more and more benefits, we will be using that. Otherwise, we'll stop using it, isn't it? This is a normal way. Okay. Next one which we want to know is multimedia mining. Multimedia. Wow. What it is? It is the process of finding interesting patterns from media such as audio, video, image, and text that are not ordinarily accessible by basic queries and associated results. Fine. So the motivation for doing MDM, multimedia data mining, is to use the discovered patterns to improve decision making. Now, in the multimedia, we have talked of the audio, video, image, and text that are not ordinarily accessible by basic queries. See, typically we are having the databases, or say we are having particular files, structured files, from which we can give the queries and we can get the results very easily. But what we say is the content where that is of this type, the audio, video, image, text, for which the ordinarily, they are not accessible by basic queries and associated results. So for them, we are considering the multimedia mining. So as we are considering the text here, let us see a bit about the text mining. So at least one type we have seen, we can say, fine. Text mining is the analysis of data contained in natural language text. The way we are talking, isn't it? The application of text mining techniques to solve business problems is called text analytics. See, for any type of data analytics, typically the models are used. What sort of models? Where features are considered to measure the performance of your model. Whatever data is that we provide to that model, based on the features, based on particular parameters of that model, the performance of that particular thing is being measured, right? And that is the analytics, data analytics. When the data is text, we say it as the text analytics, right? See, what are the examples? If we take feedback about a teacher, we can say friendliness of a teacher. What things we will consider? Friendliness of a teacher, nice teaching, consider all students equally, not like intelligent students, okay, they'll be given more importance and others are not. Good explanation power, teaching using practical demo, nice speech, right? So these are few categories we can consider, or these are few points we can consider if we want to take the feedback about a teacher. You can say that you are already giving the feedback in our feedback system, isn't it? In our college, we are having the feedback system, and where you are giving the input, isn't it? For a particular teacher, whether that person is teaching nicely, whether that subject is difficult or easy, or you can say too much syllabus is there, or you can say that uh, teacher is considering all particular students, or you can say they motivate you, or they are giving you good examples, they are having nice speech, something like this you give as the feedback of a teacher, right? That's what we are considering, the simple example, so you can understand that, right? Now, say what is the case? We are having say three clusters, and what are there in that? Let's say 1, 3, 4. A second, let me give it here number so you can have the idea. Right now, 1, 3, 4. 1, oh, oh, this is mix here, right? Okay, now it is fine. One is friendliness. Three is consider all students equally, and fourth is good explanation power. Right? So here one, three, four. Okay. Then for that, friendliness is there, equally is there. That is, we can say, consider all students equally. Then good explanation, right? Good explanation power. So one student has given the input, that is 1, 3, and 4. So we have considered the typical words. They are the friendliness, equally, and explanation. That is the good explanation, right? For second student, that has given, that is not second student but the cluster we have considered, the group of students who have given the comment 1, 3, and 4. They they will be considered with the help of keywords. See, this is the simple text. It is not the way you are giving input in our feedback system of college, right? Our CK Pitawala College is having the feedback system wherein you are giving the input typically online, and many a times if it is not possible we take it hard copy, right? Okay, so what do we want to say is, instead of directly tick mark on a particular thing in online or offline, what we say is it is being chosen with the help of, say, particular words, keywords are being taken, and that way we are saying that it is comment 1, 3, and 4. For second cluster group of students, they are selecting 2 and 5. That means what? 2 and 5 means 2 is nice teaching and 5 is teaching using the practical demo, right? So the second cluster is for those students who are selecting 2 and 5 as the comment, and the third group is where they are considering the sixth one, that is the speech. See, students are attracted by a teacher by particular things. Say somebody may like friendliness, equally good explanation. Somebody may be impressed only with this speech. Somebody will be impressed with good teaching but with practical demo, right? So students categories are there based on a particular person. They will be having the group. They like particular things, right? So based on these keywords, we are having the clusters, right? So keywords, simple text is there, so how we can extract the mining information out of it, that is using clustering, classification, many other data mining tools we can use. We may be using the association rule mining also. Those algorithms we already know, we just need to apply it. But how do you apply it to a particular text documents, right? So there we can say that particular words are being used, that is say keywords, okay, and they are typically unique. So those we will use to make the cluster, to do the classification, or for any other data mining results, right? So what is the objective? The objective is to turn text into data for analysis via application of natural language processing and analytical methods, right? So how it works, that we will see tomorrow. That's all for today.